TV. What am I doing with a hula hoop, you might ask? Well, this week we're going to use it to make a double donut skirt. Right, you see this skirt? It looks quite edgy, doesn't it? It's simply made out of two donut-shaped circles. You put them together, you add a little bit of ribbing, and look, Bob's your uncle, a gorgeous puffy skirt. The reason why we need a hula hoop to make today's skirt is we're going to use it as our pattern. All we have to do, we have to cut two circles. The inner circle of your donut is your biggest measurement around here on your hips. So look, right, I'm just roughly going around, allowing a centimetre seam allowance outside of my hula hoop. Now what I would say is once you've cut out one circle, then use that as your template for the other one, and remember to put your fabric right sides together. So once you've cut out one circle, you just take it, put it right sides together, so you're flipping it over onto another part of your fabric. We've got enough room to lay it out flat. Now I'd say really make sure that it's perfectly flat. Whoops, perfectly flat, because you want it to be exactly the same size. Now when you're sure that it is perfectly flat, get your scissors and just simply cut around that as well. So I've cut that one out, look, it's all here. So it's all cut out, if I just do that. Now what we need to do, because we don't use pins, remember, we need something to help us make our way around this circle. So what we're going to use are notches. So I just put some little snips. You can do little triangles or just little snips. Don't make them too big because then they're going to show. Going all the way around the circle, and they will act as landmarks. So you just work in between all those notches. Easy. So I've done all my notches. So now I'm going to fold it over and do that really carefully because everything will move. It's really annoying, but don't worry too much. Right, so is it symmetrical? Probably not. So I did that because I'm trying to find the middle. So now I'm going to fold it over again. Okay, so now I have got the middle. And the reason why we've done all of that is not to reveal how badly we've cut it, but because we need to cut a little circle in the middle. And the easiest way to do that is to fold it into quarters. So I've got to take my biggest measurement, which is always a bit of a secret. So let's go around here. Oh, misses. Right, so, and now I need to fold that in half, my biggest measurement. Let's say it was 90 centimetres. And then I need to fold it into quarters. And then I'm just going to sort of bend that around in a sort of arch. Is that an arch? Yes, a segment.
An arc?
An arc, thank you, Esther. And then I'm just going to cut that out. So then when we open it out like that, okay, that's going to form our waist, which looks a bit small actually. That's going to form our waist, this inner circle of the donut, which then gets attached to ribbing. So don't worry if it isn't cut really nicely. So the first thing that we're going to do is sew all the way around the circumference of our donut ring, about 1 centimetre in. So using a straight stitch, about 1 centimetre in, off we go. And we're just working between our landmarks, those notches, so it isn't daunting at all. So I'm making my way, going around. Don't worry if your fabric moves a little bit because you can always ease it back again. To work my way to the next landmark, just over there. Look, see, look, I've arrived at it already. Through the hole. Esther loves through the hole, but not that close, Esther. Anyway, don't tell off your producer. So now we've got to turn it the right way round. So we turn it the right way round and you'll instantly see, and it'll be a total wow moment. And you'll think of all the possibilities that I'm not allowed to tell you about because I've got to stick to what we're doing today. But yeah, it is, isn't it? But we've got to press it. But look at that. Imagine that. So depending upon the circumference of your circle will determine how much it sticks out or how long it is. And depending upon whether you put armholes in it, it could be a top, but no, I'm not doing that. We're doing skirts today. So now what we need to do is we put it back to being a donut ring, and we're just going to nicely press out this, but we don't press the seams out. Oh no, we've got to zigzag first, zigzag all of our edges, and then when we've done that, then we press all the way around the edge. So I've pressed the edges, which you kind of have to do because it just accentuates the fact that it is a circle, so that when you lift it up, you get that beautiful line, look. And because it's a drapey fabric, it is flattering, but I have to say, I love the sculptural look when you use it in a sort of stiffer, stronger fabric. Now, I think I'm just going to try it on top of my trousers, just to see about the length and stuff. Look! Wow! Oh my God! Is it wow? Or am I just nuts? I don't know.
Quite puffy.
It is quite puffy, but I love it. I love it being puffy. I mean, of course, you don't have to wear a top matching your skirt, but I just like the idea of it looking like a dress. Now, mine ended up a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is this. Right, so what I think I need to do is to lose a little bit off the length. So I think, because it was a bit tight for walking at the bottom, so if I lose a bit of the inner circumference of both of them, then that will give me more leg space so I can actually walk in it, which is a bonus, yes, and it will shorten it a bit as well. So, in English, I'm going to, because it isn't, as you can see, it's not perfect, I'm going to basically make it 22 all the way round. So, if I fold over my circle, and then I fold it again, we've got that business going on again, right, and I fold it again, even though it isn't perfect, if I roughly cut it so it's 22 away from the edge all the way around, will that work? Let's find out. So I need a little notch here, making sure it goes through all of the layers, and then I need to notch at the sides, there, and if I open it up, I've got all my notches. So you're going to need a strip of ribbing, which remember can come from an old jumper, a t-shirt, or you can buy some ribbing like I have here. And once it's folded over, oops, so I've cut it, my one's about 20 centimetres wide, but I'm going to fold it over so it'll end up being 10 centimetres. Now I like it to be quite wide, that, because I like the idea of having a wide bit of ribbing here, because I think it kind of holds in my tummy a little bit and it's more comfortable than having something cutting in. Anyway, the length of it is going to be your kind of biggest hip, your hip measurement, because it needs to get over your hip. But then once you've cut it, always remember, I'll do it that way round, to put it around your hips and your waist, and then pinch it as if you've got a bit of a seam allowance there, because with the ribbing being stretchy, it will end up being smaller. Does that make sense? Because when I take them, good, Esther, thank you. Because my tape measure doesn't stretch, so although I measure my hip, the ribbing does stretch, so it would be a different measurement. Anyway, you'll figure it out. Right, so then what we need to do is open it out, put right sides together. So I've got right sides together, and I'm going to stitch it down there about a centre seam allowance. So I'm going to do that now for straight stitch. So right sides together. Now what I want to do is open up that seam and then put wrong sides together so it looks like that. So basically what I'm going to do with the iron now, I'm just going to press it into that sort of shape. So I've pressed it now. Now I don't need a notch there because there's a seam there already, but I do need a notch that's going to match up with the front, making sure I go through all those layers if I get rid of that. So a notch to match up with the front on my waist on that donut, and I want ones to match up with the side notches as well. So make sure I go through all the layers. Ow! God, without cutting your finger off. Well, right. So on my waistband, I should have 3 notches and one, oh, she's nuts about through the holes, back seam. So now we need to put this waistband onto there, but don't worry, it'll be easy because we've got our notches, it'll be fine. So I'm going to open up my donut rings, and I'm just going to test something out first because we did make it bigger, didn't we? I'm going to work out where I want the back to be. So say that that's going to be the back. I'm picking up one layer of that donut ring and I'm putting fabric right sides together, so that notch is matching up with the back seam on my ribbing, and I've got to see if my waistband will stretch to the next notch, because if it doesn't, then I'm going to have to gather the actual skirt. But you know what, it does. Brilliant. Right, so that's what we do. We go to the sewing machine. I've got the ribbing facing down. Right, here we go. I am stretching the ribbing. The ribbing notch has got to match up with the notch on there, and look, there's a discrepancy of that much, but look, I can stretch it to fit. Now, to make my life easier, I'm going to go round once with a zigzag stitch quite close to the edge, and then I'm going to go in with a straight stitch because it's easier to sew that way. So have I got it on zigzag? Yes, I have, and I'm ready. So backwards and forwards to begin with, working between my landmarks. So we've got the ribbing stretched to there, arranging the fabric to fit, and zigzagging quite close to the edge. So if you just watch me until I get to the next notch. Am I there? Look, see? Just stop there, take a little break, readjust your fabric, and then when you feel it's comfortably in position, off you go again. It's easy. So look, we do need to do the straight stitch as well, but I couldn't wait to see what it looks like. So that's what it looks like. Do you get it? Do you see how it's a skirt? It is really easy, isn't it? Woo! But thank you. But we need to do our straight stitch as well, okay? So now I'm going to go around with a large-ish straight stitch, just on the inside of that zigzag there. So I'm going to position that. So what do you think of that? That's very nice. Good, no? Look. Now the hem. We just have to deal with the hem. The hem is tricky because it's a circle. So either you can get some bias binding and go around it, but you know what? Just use ribbing. It's easy, except you want to cut it a bit thinner. So I'd say you want to cut it maybe like my collar. So I'm pressing the ribbing that's going to be used for the hem in half, like that, because then it's easy to work with. Now the process that I'm using for applying this ribbing is going to be a bit different to how we did the waist, because nobody sees it down at the hem, so I'm sort of cheating it a little bit. So that's my ribbing, which is probably wider than I need, but that's fine. Now find the back, and to find the back I've got a seam at the back of my waistband, so that notch is probably the back. Now I want it to go off into nothing, just to make my life easy. So I'm feeding it off into nothing there, and then gradually bringing it up around here. So that's going off into nothing, and I'm starting with it going off into nothing, and then as I'm starting to go round, I'm going to bring this up like that. I'm going to use a centimetre seam allowance all the way around, and I am stretching my ribbing as I go round. So I'm just feeding it all the way round, stretching as I go, centimetre seam allowance. Now doing this hem is exactly the same as any of my t-shirt tutorials where I show you how to apply ribbing onto a neckline. Or you can have a look at my website, stitchless.co.uk. So we're coming to the end now. So I'm coming back to the beginning. So I'm still on a centimetre seam allowance, but I want to run this off into nothing there, which means run it away off the seam. So I'm running it like that, look. And then I'm just going to meet up with my original stitch line. So it's like that, and it'll be like that. Right, I want you to trim off all of your excess, okay? Now we actually need to trim off all of this stuff as well. So we need to trim that back to about 1/2 centimetre really, and then zigzag it all the way round. So look, there you go. Shall I show you the back? That's that bit where I was talking about going off. If you do that, then you don't have to do that time-consuming measuring out thing that you do actually need to do on the waistband. So, shall I try it on the dummy so you can see?
Yes.
Right. Okay, now, I know, it's so lovely. Now the thing is, because my dummy hasn't got any legs, there's nothing to sort of grab it here, because really when you wear it, do you know what? I'm just going to have to try it on, aren't I? Shall I try it on? I think so.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the waistband? I had to roll it because it's a little bit too big. But really, we made it in about 20 minutes. And I think I like it. Bye. Thanks for watching Stitchless TV.